Welcome to tonight's transmission of the Ministry of Assumption Absolute. I am your host, Lucien Francois Mateo St. James, and I'm here to encourage you in knowing with empowered conviction the truth of your transcendent divinity. Thank you for co-creating this moment with me. What if you didn't have to reprogram your subconscious mind and you didn't have to fight with yourself and fight with your thoughts in order to manifest the reality that represents your wish fulfilled, starting every transmission off directly or indirectly with the insight that we are living in a holographic reality, and that none of this is as fixed, is as still on a molecular and quantum level. Everything is happening all at once. It doesn't mean go jump off of a roof. There will be material consequences for that. It's the presupposition that the material realm that appears to be fixed and stagnant and still and very rigid and tough, and that we have to work and strive and earn and force our way into that which we desire, that maybe is not necessarily the case, that this is all a lot, for lack of a better term, the scientific term would be flimsier than that. So starting off always with acknowledging the fact that we're living in a fractal holographic universe. None of this is as fixed as we think it is. And secondly, always indirectly acknowledging that you are the all that is. You are all that can be. However, you are localized in an individual expression of the all that is as God in a corporal meat suit, in the 3D, in a material reality, experiencing an ego and a personality, your personal reality, with skin and with a face and with this conception that this is all that there is. But all of what you see is a manifestation of everything that can be. All of the pieces fit into the whole, and the whole breaks down into pieces, and in each piece of the whole contains the everything. So what if you didn't have to fight against reprogramming your subconscious mind, and you could begin, here's what it is, making the choice now, because the only law that matters is the law of whatever the hell you say goes. And it might not necessarily be that you see 3D reactions to that immediately, but the fact that you're looking for that means that you're not in the state of that which you desire. I think that every single one of us, here's the thing, I'm not even telling you anything. I'm helping you remember what you already know. You summoned me for me to tell you what you already know. This everything, every book we read, every person we talk to, every synchronicity, everything that we come across is really just a part of the grand remembering. And the grand remembering ends obviously at the point in time of our last breath. But all of us that are in this reality creation space, in the spirituality space, in the consciousness space, that are talking about this, we're talking about it in the ways that make sense for us, and then we teach that. So I don't think any of the concepts are wrong. I don't think any of the techniques are wrong. I don't think any of the tips and tricks are wrong. I don't think any of the quote unquote permission slips are wrong. I don't think witchcraft is wrong. I don't think astrology is wrong. I don't think any of it is wrong. I think it's just different ways for you to find more of yourself, because it all leads you back to you. I would say the things that are wrong are the things that lead you away from yourself. If you're doing witchcraft because you think it's the basil leaf that has the power, well, then you're being led away from yourself, because the basil leaf is just a permission slip that you can charge that has a 3D representation that you can project an intention on, and that intention, so much as you charge it with the belief that it works, will then be mirrored and reflected back at you. It has nothing really to do with the basil leaf. The basil leaf is just kind of like, an object. is just an object and is a target of our representation of the intention. It's us saying, okay, it's done. It's kind of like, shutting the light off after you get done cleaning a room. It's like, okay, it's done. just because you shut the light, like the light has nothing to do with the room being clean or not. It's just your signal to yourself that, okay, this work is done, and so mote it be. So I don't think any of it's wrong. I don't think that anybody talking about, like, I mean, I've learned so much from everyone. I continue to learn from everybody. Anybody that has a new perspective, you can learn something and see a different way. I mean, see a different angle of the kaleidoscope of everything at any given moment. So I don't think anyone's wrong. I don't think it's, that reprogramming your subconscious mind is wrong. I just think that maybe particularly that way of phrasing it for some individuals. Now, for me, it was incredibly helpful, but this is just maybe a different way of thinking about it. That can sound really daunting, and that can sound like, okay, and when is it done? Like, how do I know I've reprogrammed my subconscious mind? How do I know that that I've done it, that I now, like, I was this person and now I'm me 2.0, and it's because I did robotic affirmations, it's because I journaled, it's because I did my 369 journal, I did my scripting, I did my 369 journal, it's because I watched these videos, I bought this course. How do I know when the grand transformation of my subconscious mind is over? And here's the thing, I mean, your subconscious mind is everything. I mean, it's all of it. It's not like your subconscious mind. I mean, you can think of it as like the sponge of the universe. I mean, we can only even see like less than 1% of the light spectrum of all things. So like we have no way of perceiving the everything of the all that is, but we can tune to it with our conscious awareness. We can tune to a particular vision, we can tune to a particular intention or a particular lifestyle, a particular quality or characteristic trait of ourselves. We can tune ourselves like radio dials, but we can't even see, like physically we cannot see everything happening around us at once. So the subconscious mind, and then I do believe in past lives. So then the subconscious mind has all the stuff stored from that. Like, in terms of like clearing that out or reprogramming it, this is the way that I would put that. Not that I think that that's wrong, but this is the way that I would put that I think is more simple, because the subconscious mind is absorbing everything around you all the time. I mean, the subconscious mind, if we look at, like old school, psychodynamic, psychoanalysis, the hypothesis is that, you don't even have access to 95% of that. So like, while there's so much stimuli actually happening in this video, you're paying attention to a very small, fragmented, minute bit of it. You can only see a very small, fragmented, minute bit of it, yet you're absorbing all of it. When you go into the grocery store, you're absorbing all of it. You're, everything. You are processing everything all at once, but you don't have access to that. So then, like, how could you reprogram the sponge, essentially, like the spongy allness of everything, and how would you even have access to that? Well, here's what you can do is choose differently, and choose over and over and over and over again. And you'll know when your choosing is starting to take effect within yourself, when your thinking becomes more automatically resonant with that which you desire. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is, what do you think about yourself right now? If somebody were to ask you, what do you think about you? Would it be primarily negative thoughts or primarily positive thoughts? Would you be able to rattle off, like, I've been working in the field of mental wellness for the last 6 years, just straight out of college, and got a master's. And most people can't necessarily even tell me 10 positive things that they think about themselves. So that would mean that, not that we need to look at like the whole of the all of everything. Like the subconscious mind is like the entire world, basically, that you've ever been a part of, ever at any point in time. We can't necessarily do anything about that, but there is a portion of that has to do with your self-concept in terms of what you think about yourself. And what you can do is begin to start choosing differently, because what neuroscience tells us is that 90% of our thoughts that we have are repetitive from the last day. Like they're the same thoughts that we had yesterday. So if we have 70,000 thoughts per se, depending on the research study you look at, some people say 40,000. I've heard 60,000, a TED Talk, 50, whatever. But, I don't know, average human, 70,000 thoughts. And 90% of those are the same thoughts as yesterday. And again, we don't even have access to every single one of those thoughts. Of course we don't. But what are the thoughts that you are consciously aware of? And how can you begin to start choosing differently? Because we're talking about retuning. We're not looking at, and again, it's the same shit. Like everybody, here's the thing, is that everybody's saying the same thing. Your job is to find somebody that resonates with you enough to bring you back to yourself. because I don't think anybody's wrong. I mean, how could any of us be wrong here in this space? We're all just talking about different pieces, of the whole of everything, and all of it's valid in and of its own right. Is a glass half full or half empty? Well, you can make an argument for either or. I mean, you can make an argument for the validity really of anything, at least per some perspective out there. So, looking at reprogramming your subconscious mind, well, that's such a large, daunting task. And how do you know when it's done? Well, let's just look at what you consciously have access to. What do you think about yourself on a typically standard, normal basis? And if it's negative, then you know that you are probably sitting in a pretty negative sense of self. You're probably experiencing predominantly negative emotions, if you're even able to identify what emotions you're experiencing on a normal basis. That would be the next thing. Most of us we're not tuned into ourselves. We are not quite literally attuned to ourselves. We don't know what we're thinking. We don't know what we're feeling. And it's not necessarily the thoughts and feelings that manifest themselves, but I mean, it's all of it. It's a level of spiritual understanding that we have about the nature of how all of this works. It's alignment with your higher self. It's alignment on the thought realm. It's alignment on the emotional realm. It's heart-brain coherence. It's a relaxed nervous system. It's stepping out of survival mode, because anything that you feel that you urgently need is a state of survival, and a state of survival is what's going to continue to manifest, because that's fear-based. And it doesn't really matter if you really, really, really need a car right now. If the vision that you have around that car is charged with the negative energy of fear of, if I don't get it, then you're just going to see more fear. Maybe you'll get the car. I mean, I highly doubt it, because if the car represents, I want the car because I want to feel a certain way, whatever that way a car would make you feel. But if I don't get that car, what the predominant feeling around that is if I don't get the car, then I'm not going to be able to feel that way, and I'm afraid I'm not going to get the car. So now I'm always fixating on the car, and I'm scripting about the car, and I'm journaling about the car, and I'm wondering when the car is going to get here, and I'm looking around for the car, and every time I see somebody else with a car, I think, okay, is that a sign? Is the car coming? When am I going to get it? Like, do you hear how anxious all of that is? And I can do that. I can go take you through that, because I've done it. And I've come out on the other side, and I'm like, oh, like I was doing way too much. I was doing way too much. It's all of this is the law of you, the law of being, the law of I am, the power of I am. You are the God of your reality. You are the source. Anything that takes you away from you being at the center and the source of your own creations, that's the wrong way. It has nothing to do with the specific method of the specific thing that somebody else said. If that leads you back to yourself and makes sense for you and resonates for you and creates an easier, more flowing path, then absolutely. But it's not because that person said it. It's not because of their success. It's not because of the things they have that they don't have. It's about the power that you invest within yourself in knowing, an empowered conviction, and you knowing, not believing, that you are the one who is in charge of all of this. You have to decide what you want to have right now. I'm not talking about material things. I mean, have within yourself. So back to this reprogramming the subconscious mind thing. Choose again. If you have mostly negative things to say about yourself and you're mostly experiencing negative emotions, you are re-choosing. If you think, I'm depressed, I hate myself, nothing in my life has ever gone right, I've been traumatized, I've been neglected, I've been abused, I've been discarded, I've been rejected, I've been thrown aside, nobody's ever cared about me, my relationships, like all of that, my relationships are going negatively, that I've never had love, I always get left. Well, do you want to keep choosing that? Because fine, like that's the 90% of your thoughts that keep running and going over and over and over and over again, and the more that those thoughts, it's not just necessarily that the thoughts manifest, it's an entire system of self, but the more that those thoughts are running on repeat, the more that they're changing the neurochemistry in your body, the more that you are anxious around and in a state of fight or flight around everything to do with every single one of those topics, the more hopeless you are, the more you probably think things are never going to get better, the more that you're probably self-medicating in one way or the other, be it Netflix or be it doom scrolling or be it the myriad of other illegal things that you can do in order to make yourself feel bad about something. Now you're depending on somebody else. Now you're waiting on a text back. Now you're hoping that your boss tells you you did a good job. Now you're hoping that your best friend is going to pick you over her boyfriend tonight, because she always picks her boyfriend, and every time she picks her boyfriend and you two don't spend Friday night together, you feel dejected. Like, all of that is you outsourcing your power. So what do you want to feel? And my favorite affirmation for myself is, I am now aware of, because it's quite literally like a declaration of awareness. And you re-choose, and you choose over and over. So now it can sound like kind of robotic programming, and it is getting along the lines of that. I'm not saying, you robotically repeat these things to yourself every day, but when you notice, first of all, in your free time, listening to some robotic affirmations, listening to some frequencies, doing some meditation, just getting into a state of feeling good. This also doesn't have to be necessarily so complicated. Do you even know what makes you feel good? Because a lot of times we're looking to manifest all of this stuff because we have no access to ourselves. We have no understanding of ourselves as source consciousness. So we think the car or the job or the whatever it is going to create that state of relaxation and that state of peace. And because we're so desperately chasing after that state of relaxation and that state of peace, and if you charge it with urgency, then it's going to stay farther away from you because you're focused on the lack, and that lack is charged with fear, and fear generates more negative results. It usually bring whatever you fear draws near, and it stays in a cycle, and then you wonder why you're not manifesting. So you re-choose. I am now aware of abundant wealth. I am now aware of whatever my desired outcome is. I am now aware of the fact that I am loved in every moment. I am now aware of the fact that I am absolutely adored. I am now aware of the fact that I experience bliss in every moment. I am now aware of the fact that the holy is in every day. I am now aware of the fact that this is a simulation. I am now aware of the fact that there is nothing for me to be afraid of. I am now aware of the fact that I always get every single thing that I want. I am now aware of, and you don't have to change it up. You do the affirmations. Like, I've not heard anybody say that. I'm not saying nobody has. I'm just saying, like, it's not about like finding the right affirmation, finding the right words. But those words bring me, quite literally, and then if you close your eyes and say them, bring me into the awareness of the feeling. And again, aligning the feeling with the thoughts, calming your breath down, coming into the present moment. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about the heart-brain coherence, which, to me is like science language for calm the fuck down. Now, he talks about like gamma waves and all this other like brain stuff, there's gamma wave meditation, beta waves, and, there's a certain amount of waves that happen when you sleep and a certain amount of waves that happen like, when you're doing something active, and, survival state waves. And like, I don't know, like, I'll have, if you want more information on that, we can talk about that in the next video. Like, look up his stuff. But I really like hemisync. There you hear the do 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 do. Between your ears, like hemisync frequencies. Because those are so aligning. Those just feel so good. You want to start feeling good, and you want to be the source of that feeling good, not relying on chocolate. And here's the thing, I say this full disclosure, I've been addicted to many things. If you get addicted to it, I've probably tried it, or tried something akin to it, because I was searching for, I would say that my addictions were definitely part of my spiritual journey, because I was like, I know there's better than this. I'm full well aware of there's better than abuse, trauma, neglect, sad feelings, depression, suicidal ideation. Like, there's more to life than that. There's a good time somewhere, and I sought it out in as many places, and I ended up back at myself. And all of the things that are not for you will hurt you. Like, all of the things that you're depending on to provide you with a certain experience, they will disappoint you, and they will lead you back to yourself. They will let you down because they quite literally cannot give you what you are looking for, because you have outsourced your sense of self, and you have outsourced your desires, and you have outsourced your experience to something outside of you, meaning that it is not within you, and you're only going to experience that which is within you. So if you have an awareness of the thing that I want is not inside me, it's out there, you're going to continue to experience more of that distance, manifested in a variety of ways that are utterly heartbreaking. From experience. Tell you that. Oh, and I can tell you about what happens when you finally stop forcing and you just allow things to be. It feels so good, and it feels so good because you don't need anything. It's not that you don't strive for, when I say, God, I would never use the word strive. It's not that you don't have a vision of a desire, but you understand that you have everything now. And the more that you sit in that awareness, so you choose over and over and over again. You stop choosing to be depressed. You stop choosing to define yourself by your weight. You stop choosing to define yourself by, I should be farther along by now. And you start choosing, you start overriding that 90% habit every single day. You start meditating. You start doing new things. You start, find a hobby. Really, like find a fucking hobby. Try things you hate. Discover what you hate because you've tried it. And I don't mean try something once and decide you've hated it. I mean, like, you find out what doesn't work for you because you're trying things. You're not sitting stagnant in life, repeating the same things in your mind, feeling the same emotions over and over and over again, living the same 90% with the same desperation and the same hoping and the same wanting and the same willing and the same lack feelings and the same anxiety attacks and the same fight or flight and the same waiting on the text message and all of that, and the same watching all of these videos hoping that the one video is going to be the one thing. Like, it's you. You are the source. That is the only answer. And I'm going to spend, the rest of my days figuring out different ways to say that, for myself and sharing it here in the ministry. It's you. It's you. You are the source, the power of whatever you declare, the power of I am, the power of which you place your awareness on. That is what manifests, because you're the consciousness. You are the physical, individualized expression of all of source consciousness that can be expressed in a body through a particular awareness that prioritizes a focus. What are you prioritizing in your focus? And you choose again. You choose again in every new moment. And you choose again in every new moment. And you keep choosing, and you keep doing new things, and you keep loving yourself, and you keep living. And yes, you keep scripting, and you keep journaling, and you start removing yourself from negative people. It is very difficult. It is very, very difficult. I mean, here's the thing is, once you, the life that you've created, this is the last thing I'll say, the life that you've created as a result of everything you believe right now, that will start to fall away once you align yourself with new thoughts. And not, again, it's not the thoughts, but new emotions, a new state of being, a new experience, a new understanding of self, a new understanding of possibility. And that possibility just explodes when you begin to look at this as a simulation, as a video game. If you think about a video game and that character loses all its money, panic. Just go do another mission. I'm not saying you go just get another job. I'm saying that you don't lose your mind. You don't fall into a depressive episode for 8 months. Or the character, they lose all their lives, or they fail a mission. You don't take it personally in terms of your, as an indication of your worth. Well, hopefully you don't. I do know gaming can get kind of serious for some people. If you lose at the video game, because there's a separation, there's a distance of self, so to begin to see that, like, I am the witness consciousness of all things observing this screen of reality, and what I observe, I am the source of. I am the creation. I am the origin point. It's me. It's not the tips and tricks and things. Those can help, not against them, but that it's me. That everything I see is a mirror of me. Everything I don't like about the world is a mirror of me. Now, yes, there's the collective consciousness. Yes, there's the news. Yes, there's the world. I'm not saying that you're necessarily controlling, the children in third world countries that are starving. But, is it helping you? Unless you're going to, get over there and do some work. Is it helping you to pay attention to that? Send some money, I guess. But, why do you fill your awareness with such negative things? And that's a whole other, like, why? We know why. That's a whole other thing. Yeah, but fill yourself with the awareness of so many negative things, so much of other people's suffering, so much of your own suffering. When I do one-on-one sessions, most people are so consumed with other people's drama and the news and their family and Joe down the street and Joe down the street's sister. She just got a dog. She had no business getting a dog. I'm like, no wonder you are in such a disoriented state of self, experiencing such persistently negative consequences as a result of your being. You're not even being you. You are jam-packed and full of everybody else's signal. with that, signing off of the Ministry of Assumption Absolute. This transmission is brought to you by and is courtesy of the Electric Temple. Thank you so much for co-creating this moment with me. Remember to be good to yourselves and others, because everybody's just an expression of you anyway. And until next time, also join the Liberation Chronicle. That's the newsletter that I've got going. I've like nuked and rebranded everything. So yeah, that's what we're doing now. I love this very much, just the nature of me. But join that. It's the written word of this ministry. And Dispatches from the Edge of Obvious, that's a podcast exclusive to Spotify. I haven't got my first episode up yet, but that will be here on the way as well. So keep a lookout for it.